Now, welcome to our review cap of The Mandalorian Season 1, Episode 1, also known as Chapter 1, The Mandalorian.
Yeah, they don't have episodes, they have chapters.
Chapters, episodes, same thing. Where we're going to kind of briefly run through, recap the episode, give some thoughts, and unlike with The Bad Batch, we do intend to finish this one, right? We're going to make it through both seasons and probably those episodes of the Book of Boba Fett that deal with them.
Isn't that season 2.5?
Yes, so It's The Mandalorian.
Well, we kind of start with the perfect introduction for the character, him walking to the bar, laying down the law, man of few words. His first things he says are his iconic lines, I can bring you in warm, I can bring you in cold.
You sound just like him.
No, I don't.
That was good. Very good introduction for him. Very reminiscent of the Han Solo introduction, I would say.
I mean, the first big question that you and I asked ourselves was we were rewatching it because we're paying a lot more attention than ever before because Andor forces you to watch things through a different spectrum, I think. The guy he takes in for the bounty, he goes, is it true you guys never take off your helmets? How does he know that?
Yeah. If that's a weird...
If this is supposed to be a weird branch-off sect of the Mandalorians, how does he know that they never take their helmets
off? Why does he know about what the weird sect does rather than the bulk of the Mandalorians?
Or is it just some random rumor?
Though at the same time, Mando didn't know what the other Mandalorians did. It's a galaxy of people not knowing what's going on, I guess. There's a lot of things going on in the galaxy, don't get me wrong, but it's kind of strange what people do and do not know sometimes.
Mm-hmm. What I love is the serious music, the serious tone. It's not cartoonish, it's not kiddish. The music takes itself seriously, the show is taking itself seriously, and it's gritty, and I liked it. I love the fact that Mando refused Imperial credits when he went to turn in his bounty.
Imperial credits are no good here.
Well, it's interesting because he immediately rejected those. I don't want Imperial credits. I'd rather take half price, Mon Calamari flan than Imperial credits.
Well, it's a good
Even
way
though they need the money, they don't want Imperial credits. He hates the Empire.
It's a good reminder of what's going on in the galaxy. Helps people know when we are. The Empire has fallen. They're not around anymore. Why do I want their money?
Not even that. Just that. But, even when he takes the piece of Beskar that he'll get later in the episode to the armorer, it's got the Imperial stamp on it, and they remember that it was stolen from them in the Great
Purge.
Yeah. The Night of 1,000 Deaths.
Tears, but yeah.
And that. But then, he needs to get a new bounty because he's pretty much supplying all the money, it looks like, for the underground Mando culture.
Plenty of it, yeah.
Because they have to limit how... I know, they don't even talk about in this episode why they're hiding, but we'll get into that in an episode down the line, I'm sure. Alright, so he goes and he visits the client, and we find out there's no chain code. Which we were like, oh yeah, it makes sense. Grogu is, he's pre-Empire. He's pre-chain code.
Probably been on the run since then.
Mm-hmm. But, he goes in there and you can tell he's immediately on edge. Because he's like, oh, Imperial Remnant. I don't like these guys. I don't like them at all. They pull guns on him. He pulls guns on them. It's all great.
I like those odds.
I like those odds. Never tell me the odds. And what's really interesting is he's getting his assignment and the guy... The client, who I don't remember if we ever get a name for him.
No, he's just the client.
The client is, you know what? We want him alive. We'll pay for him alive. But I will pay less with proof of termination. Meaning he'll still get paid, but he wants proof that it's dead.
Yeah, he wants, the head.
Right. I'm just so curious about that. Pershing's like, no, we need him alive. We absolutely need this alive.
Yeah.
But the other guy's like, alive, or at least proof that it's dead. Maybe somebody could use it against them or something. There might be a lot more veiled underneath that statement than we even realize.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because you would probably prefer it alive, but he's like, it's fine. He doesn't even say they. He's kind of making excuses already for the fact that he's going to have to kill the thing to bring it in, which makes no sense. Why are you going to have to kill it?
Exactly. There's no need.
Yeah.
Really, to kill it. But he might just say, hey, if there's a firefight and it's too hard to get it out of there because it might be cumbersome to try and drag it around with you, kill it and bring us proof. It's a lot easier to carry, throw a dead body in a backpack than strap a head to your belt than it is to bring something living back.
This whole interaction makes me wonder if they have any idea what Baby Yoda is or what Grogu is. Because he's tiny, right? Why do you, even if you're in a firefight and you have to grab him, just grab him and throw him in a bag. Heck, we've seen that in this season that he's just thrown in a bag and kept there.
Mm-hmm. It's a very interesting conversation.
Yes.
What's interesting is they also have the last known location of him. you know where it is and you haven't gone to get it yourselves.
Yes, and they have the resources.
They have
have at least
they
some resources.
Hire more than just one bounty hunter, too. And they've got the Moff Gideon, and he's got troops, so what's the deal? Why are we like, oh, yeah, let me just hire a bounty hunter?
I don't know. I mean, it gets the story going, right?
Mm-hmm.
It gets Grogu and Mando together.
I mean, early on it makes you wonder how much does this Imperial remnant actually connect to, like, someone like Moff Gideon? Were they trying
Quite a bit. He seems to be their superior in a way. He comes later on. I mean, they're getting it for Gideon. Who's getting it for, we don't know why.
I thought it seems more like they're getting it for Pershing, because he needs it for something.
Well, yeah, but I think Pershing is doing the experiments for Gideon, right?
We're talking about things that are later in the season that we haven't seen yet.
Well, sure. I know this is kind of getting off topic, but we found some interesting things on the rewatch. I mean, it's not my first rewatch. I've seen this episode, I think, like 7-8 times at this point.
Right, so we know that he goes underground to the underground Mandalorian base. And he's going to get a new pauldron made, which is great because he got just enough Beskar to make it. And to give a little to the foundlings. It's important because he was a foundling. What I really like in this scene is the flashes of when the armorer is forging his new piece. You see flashes of his past life.
Yeah. So the Clone Wars, yeah.
He was forged,
Forged in battle?
Yes.
Yes.
It's kind of the perfect way to tease those flashbacks rather than just, here's a flashback. No, it's the pounding of the hammer, the sparks of the fire, and flashes of his life coinciding with flashes of bombs and gunfire.
This first episode does a lot of good things to kind of establish the character of Din Djarin, who we don't know is Din Djarin yet. He's just Mandalorian.
Yeah, why are you even calling him that?
I know, spoiler alert. Yeah.
And then we get to see Kuiil. And Kuiil's like, hey,
I've spoken.
That's his stick. And he talks about lots of people have come trying to get this thing out of the base, but nobody succeeded. Because for some reason, they're willing to just keep spending money on new bounty hunters? I don't know.
Well, if they don't succeed, you don't have to pay them.
Oh, he got a down payment. He got prepaid.
Well, he did because he's the best in the business. Not everybody else does.
I do still love when the great mythosaur joke, when he's like, haha, you can't ride a blurg. Your ancestors rode the great mythosaur, and you're going to be fine. You'll be fine.
Well, that inspired him. He's like, all right, I can ride this thing.
I do like that blurgs look like a dinosaur had sex with a fish.
Wow.
I wrote that down in my notes.
Why did you... That's what gets written down. I don't even want to read your notes.
You always read my notes. But Kuiil had his own motives, of course, for helping Mando. He wants to get rid of the mercenaries. He just wants a peaceful, quiet life. And having Bounty Hunter of the Day show up to fight the mercenaries is a little distracting.
I will help you, because maybe you'll succeed this time and get rid of those bad guys.
Then my boy IG-11 shows up at the mercenary camp, announcing his presence and that he wants to have the asset.
I have claimed the asset, yeah.
And he's got his little fob, and...
He's there to kill him, though.
He's really cool, though. The fight scene with him is really cool.
Yeah.
I like how they're, like, holding the fob out and, like, scanning with it, like, he's that way. I still don't know how these fobs work.
Nobody does.
I don't have a chain code, but somehow these fobs can track exactly where you are. It's scary.
It has to somehow track your DNA. But how it would do that from a distance, I have no idea.
It's freaky. I do love when IG immediately wants to self-destruct because it's like built into his programming to hide his manufacturer's secrets. To blow himself up rather than get captured. Over and over again. He's like, no, I gotta blow myself up, man. That's it for me. I gotta blow myself up so nobody knows. And then at the end, he doesn't even get to blow himself up. He gets shot and left, and his manufacturer's secrets be left there on the floor.
Yeah.
Because IG says his mission is to terminate, the asset, or Grogu. But Mando's was to bring it in alive...
Or dead.
Or dead, but preferably alive. But IG didn't seem to get any orders about the alive part.
No,
because why wouldn't he?
There's a lot of questions left over from this episode, especially when you watch it now after the
fact. What do you want a reputation of? Well, I did the easier part of the job. No, he didn't get the same orders. It's just weird because they both went through Grief Cargo. They both went through the Guild.
Yeah, because he had the tracking fob and everything. We can assume they both went through the Guild, or that the Empire wouldn't even deal with somebody outside of the Guild too.
Right. That's why it's so bizarre, because why did they get separate orders?
I don't know. Never explained.
Never explained.
A lot of things in this episode are never explained.
I have to look very closely now watching this forward to see if we do get any explanations that I am missing.
You're not going to get those explanations.
And then, Mando shoots IG-11, and he pokes a finger at Grogu, and the episode ends.
Yeah. Good first episode.
Good first episode. It looks like a strong character, gives you lots of questions and things to ponder about, even things that we'll never get answers to, apparently.
No, I think it's a great introduction to Din Djarin, a.k.a. the Mandalorian. We get a glimpse of a lot of cool little world building in here, a lot of little nuggets of, what the Mandalorians are kind of up to at this moment, though we don't know why.
Yeah, they're just underground.
Kind of underground and hiding, and
built a forge down there.
We get to see Beskar.
The first time IG-11 sees him, he shoots him right in the new shoulder Beskar piece because everyone aims for it.
Oh,
it's like God. Beskar attracts.
They should almost just put that in canon that Beskar actually attracts blaster bolts because he always gets hit in the Beskar.
Takes it right in the Beskar every time.
Yes.
He's barely got any Beskar and he takes it right in that one little shoulder.
He has one little shoulder pad, and IG-11, who's bullseyed everybody else in the chest and killed them with one shot, hits him in the shoulder where the Beskar is. I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, the show would be pretty short if he hit him in the chest and just killed him.
Episode 1 of the end of The Mandalorian gets killed.
I'm surprised it wasn't about that Mandalorian.
Yeah, it's about a different one. But no, it's a good first episode. You watch it now, and there's a lot of things you're like, well, I'd really like to know a little bit more backstory about what is going on here exactly. And maybe Season 3 will deal with some of this stuff, explaining Grogu, where he exactly has been, what they want with him. We've heard teases that there's connections between the Bad Batch and the Mandalorian and the Imperial scientists and all that, so maybe one or both of these shows will give us some answers finally.
You asked for a lot.
I do ask for a lot. But anyway, I think that's all we got for you this time, so do take to the comments below. Tell us what you thought of the first episode of Season 1 of The Mandalorian, Chapter 1 of The Mandalorian, called The Mandalorian, and let's talk some Star Wars. And until next time, thanks for watching.